Hello, I'm Jana, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today, we're going to have some fun with a patriotic-themed project. I most recently saw an amazing tutorial over at the Tim Holtz blog for a patriotic rosette ribbon. This looks absolutely amazing, but I noticed that a lot of the supplies are retired. So we're going to see if we can recreate some of this project with a more current twist using some of the newer Tim Holtz products. Also, I'm going to be pulling in the new Etcetra façades to turn this into a bit of a decor piece. If you'd like to see which supplies I'm going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. To start our patriotic project, I'm going to be pulling in one of the new Etcetra pieces from façades. Now, this looks perfect. It's kind of like the shield that the American eagle sits on, so this will make a great foundation for the start of our project. We're going to be altering this with some distress paint, and we're going to be pulling in lumberjack plaid, picket fence, prize ribbon, and a dash of tarnished brass. So let's go ahead and start altering this. I'm going to be using one of the Tim Holtz Distress collage brushes, and we're going to be adding some color to the face of this facade. So let's go ahead and start off with a bit of prize ribbon. Just going to put a little bit of that there, and we're just going to spread this around. So I'm going to do about 1/3 blue, and then the rest we're going to turn into stripes. Okay, that color is looking good. All right, just going to make sure that we try and make this as even as possible. Okay, so we're going to take some washi tape, and I'm going to do a quick mask so that we won't get any paint on this blue section. Just take that, run that across here like that. All right, good. And I'm also going to mask in the other direction so that I can get the stripes lined up as well. All right, I'm just going to carefully do that. I'm going to put this on fast forward while I finish masking, and then we will add our red stripes first, and then we'll go in with some white ones. Now that we've finished all of our painting, it's time to grunge this up a bit. As you can see, we've got some unsightly pink splotches, but not a problem. We are simply going to cover that up with some distress ink. So we're going to take some vintage photo, and we're going to completely cover the front of this. And this is going to get really grungy, but then after we have inked all of this, we're going to go in with some water, and we're going to add a few drip drops to get a more distressed look. There, much better. Darkening that up is definitely helping quite a bit. But I do see a couple of spots that I think I want to add just a little bit of paint to. That pink is very prominent. So I'm just going to take a smaller brush and carefully go over those little spots. Okay, much better. That pink just was not working for me. Okay. So we'll just quickly cover that up the best that we can. Was hoping that the masking would keep all of that from running together, but we had a little bit of bleed. That's okay. Not a big deal. Pretty easy to fix. Okay, a little bit here, a little bit over here. Good. And a little bit over here. All right, I'm going to give this a quick dry, and then I'm going to add another layer of distress ink. Okay, now we'll go in with that second layer of vintage photo. Good. Okay. That is looking nice and grungy. Now let's add some water drips. So just like that, we'll drip drop some drips on here, and then I'm going to blot that off with a paper towel. So paper towel, just put that right over the top and blot. Let's see how that came out. There we go. That is what I was looking for. Okay, so next I need to quickly wipe down my surface, and then I wanted to add a piece to the back circle of this. So we need some collage medium, and I'm just going to scribble this on. Okay. And now I'm going to add the paper that I was setting aside for this. Okay, let's see. This is a scrap, so it's gonna fit at a little bit of an odd angle, but that's okay. Just take that, glue that down, and I can easily trim the little extra bits off in a moment. Good. Okay. So the paper that I'm using is from the latest Tim Holtz Ideology backgrounds, and it's a lovely shade of blue on the opposite side that is going to match perfectly with our theme here. Good. There. Oh, definitely liking that blue. All right, let's just snip off those little extra pieces. Great. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is to add some stars. And to do that, I'm going to be taking the shifter stencil. These have stars at a really good distribution. And we're just going to stick that over the top here. And first I'm going to dab a little bit with Distress Picket Fence. And then we're going to add some grit paste snowfall over the top for a little bit of added sparkle. So we're going to need the collage brush again, and I'll get some of the distress paint, put a little bit of that down, and let's go ahead and add some stars. So I'm just going to carefully tap this, and hopefully I won't get too much bleed, but we will see. It may be a little grungy because we've got the distress ink underneath, but that's okay. I just want a little bit of a landing zone for the grit paste. And I kind of want those to be more white. So I wanted to lay down a little bit of a base first. Okay, not bad. A little bit more here, star here, and I've got one more star right there. Excellent. So we'll just lift. Ooh, okay, it bled a little bit. Not the end of the world. And I will add an extra star over here. Good. So we're just going to dry that off and then add the grit paste. Now that we have our stars dried, and I did a little bit of touch-up work to get rid of some of the bleed, we're now going to be going in with the grit paste snowfall. So I'm just going to quickly wipe off the stencil, and we're going to line this back up. Okay. Good. All right, and now we'll get the grit paste, open that up, and apply it. I've got one of the Ranger Tim Holtz palette knives, And let's see how this goes. Hoping this is going to add a little bit of sparkly texture. Okay, so far so good. The big thing is going to be when we lift this off and see what has happened. And I've still got that one other little random star over here. And I'll have a little bit of scraping to do. Okay. Ooh, nice. Definitely liking. All right, let's get that one little star over here. All right. Not bad. I am pretty happy with this. So just got a little bit of scraping to do, just right along here, and a little bit more over here. Okay, I am very happy with this. So we're going to set this aside for now and let the grit paste dry. Now that we've finished our foundational piece, it is time to create the Patriotic Rosette. Now I'm going to be pulling in a very old Tim Holtz die. This is a Tim Holtz alteration, and this is the Snowflake Rosette. Absolutely love this, and it's pretty vintage for the Tim Holtz line. So let's go ahead and start building our rosette. For the rosette, I've die cut this piece, and I'm just going to start folding this back and forth to create the texture of the rosette. This is already pre-perforated, so it makes for some very easy folding. And we'll just keep folding back and forth until we have folded the whole strip of paper. Now for paper, you need at least a minimum of 12 inches in order to die cut this entire strip. Okay, there we go. Now that I have all of this folded, I'm just going to squunch that up together. And we're going to need some hot glue. So I'm going to take some hot glue. I'm just going to put that directly onto the glass mat. Just get a nice glob, roughly the size of a blueberry. And we're going to take this and we're going to squinch that into the blob. But I forgot I need to also attach the ends, otherwise this isn't going to hold together very well. Okay. And hot glue I find is best for this. It dries fast and it will hold up very nicely when we start putting things together. Okay, so I'm turning this over. There, I've got my circle. I'm just going to squish that over the glue and push that together. There we go. Let's see. Bring that down just a little bit. And you can see that there's a little glue bubble in the middle. That's a good thing. I want that. And we're just going to add a little bit more glue because I'm now going to add a little decorative circle over the top. This is the Tim Holtz Alteration Sizzix folder. This is one of the 3D embossing impresslits. This was medallions, and we're just going to stick that medallion over the top. Very good. Now, Tim used a completely different piece when he created the original Patriotic Rosette, but I don't have a lot of those supplies, so I'm substituting in things that I do have, such as the Sizzix impresslit. Okay, very good. And next, we need to add a little star into the center. For the star, I was able to pull in some of the Tim Holtz craft stock, and this is the Sparkle Classic, and I die cut a little star to go on top of the rosette. So we'll just place that right here. Good. And that star came from this die set, Swirling Stars. So I used one of the larger stars to die cut, and then we place that right here. Okay, now the base of our rosette should be dry, and it is. We just pull that off. We've got a nice little flat spot in the back now. Now the next thing that we're going to do, Tim also had this really cool metallic-y trim going around the back of the rosette piece. Now this tinsel was brought back from the vault, and I believe it might be the same tinsel that was used in that particular demonstration. So we're going to be using some of the tinsel, and this is from the Christmas SKU. So I'm just going to take some of that. I'm going to roughly figure out about how much we need. Looks good. And we'll just snip that. And again with the hot glue, we're going to run a line along the back of this. Okay, a little bit more. I want to go all the way around in a circle. Good. And now we're going to stick the tinsel down. So this tinsel has a little bit of wire in it, so that will make it easy to bend around. Okay, pretty good. I'll just try to adjust that a little bit. Make sure that the tinsel is peeking out behind the rosette. Good. Definitely like this. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have some cleanup to do. I've got a whole bunch of glue strands, but not a big deal. Let's first trim the tinsel. Okay. Now, when dealing with glue strands, I like to just use a little bit of added heat to make them vanish. Okay. Now we're just pressing this down a little bit to make sure that everything is going to be seen. Ooh. Absolutely loving this. All right, I'm just going to quickly hit this with the heat tool to vanish the glue strands, and then we'll move on to the next step in this demo. All right, much better. So now that the main part is done, this is the rosette where you need to add the ribbons. And to do that, we're going to be pulling in the tonic mini trimmer. We are also going to need some of the Tim Holtz craft stock paper. Now for the craft stock, we're going to put that on the trimmer, and I'm going to line this up at 3/4 of an inch. I'm just going to take that, I'm going to slice, and I need to do that twice. Okay, and one here. Good. All right, twice with the blue, and we need twice with the red. So 3/4. And 3/4 again. Okay. Good. We've got those strips. Now we can put the tiny trimmer away. And we're going to be bringing in some washi tape next. So this is from the Tim Holtz Ideology collection. This is one of the many washi tapes that have been released over the years. So we're going to take these, we're going to line them up, and I'm going to use this to go right down the middle. So I'll just start with these side by side. Carefully place that here. Okay, and running that down the middle like that. And a little bit off. That's okay. Let's see if we can't pull this up and realign. Okay, that looks much better. Good. And just rip that off and tuck that behind. Very good. Okay, so that's part one. Let's go ahead and assemble part two. So these are going to become the tails of the prize ribbon rosette. Okay, got that. We'll line this up again. And try to center this as much as possible. Right here looks good. And good. There we go. And we'll tuck the tails under. So now we have these two pieces, and we're going to be sticking those together like that to go onto the ribbon. And now I just need to cut a little triangle out of both these pieces, and we will be all set. I think I'll glue first and then add triangular cuts. Okay, good. Push that down, make sure that sticks. Very good. And we'll go ahead and add the next piece. Okay, a little bit more glue. Take that, turn it over, and right there. Excellent. Just getting rid of a few glue strands. Good. Now we trim. Let's see. Good. And here. There we go. There is the Rosette Patriotic ribbon. So now we're just going to bring this back and attach. So this is going to rest right here. And I think I want to add some words on here. Happy 4th. So I'm going to glue this down and then we're going to die cut a few letters to add to this. All right. Getting low on glue, that's okay. I think I've got enough to stick this down. That should be good. And right there. Perfect. Okay, we'll be back in a moment after we die cut some letters. Okay, now for some finishing touches. So I decided that I want to add some letters onto here and we're going to spell out Happy 4th. And we're going to be using these two die sets. We have got alphanumeric, teeny type uppercase, and lowercase. So we have die cut these out of some of the classic craft sparkle cardstock. And we're just going to quickly pop the dies off and add these letters to the project. Okay. And I'm definitely going to want the teeny tiny die pick for this. That is going to be making this much easier to get the letters onto the page. All right. So I also grabbed a banner die cut. This is also from one of the old Sizzix alteration long die cuts. And we're going to use that to put our letters on a landing space. So carefully, I'm just trying to get these little pieces off of the kraft. Ooh, those are teeny tiny and just a little bit hard to grab. All right, while I struggle with this, we're going to put the rest of this on fast forward. And here is our finished text. It says Happy 4th. So I wanted to add our text to our decor project, but I don't want to just lay this down flat. Now with the Etcetra façades, we also get these great pieces that are meant to add dimension to the projects. And we're going to be using some of those strips to add a little bit of dimension to our text. Now we're just going to take some hot glue and we'll just add that right onto the project. Okay, I've got that. I'll just stick that down here. I want this fairly centered. That looks good. Press down. Excellent. And now I need just a little bit more glue to add our words. So we're just going to do a thin line of glue right across this. Good. Now for the glue gun, I happen to be using a shear bonder, and this is the high temperature glue gun with fine detail tip. All right, and let's add that word strip. Perfect. There we go. This would be our completed project. here is the completed 4th of July decor project. This entire project was greatly inspired by a Tim Holtz tutorial over on his blog featuring the Patriotic Rosette prize ribbon. I absolutely love the idea, but I noticed right away that I didn't have all the supplies. So this has been a remix of that idea to create something new. For starters, we were able to draw in a whole bunch of new cardstocks that have been recently released into the Ideology line. We've got the classic sparkle cardstock for the star. Then I used the warm and cool tone packs for the prize ribbon tails. And in the background, we also pulled in some new distress items. We've got some lumberjack plaid in the stripes of the facade shield. And I also was able to pull in some of the distress snowfall texture paste for the stars to add a little bit of sparkle, but without a glittery mess. I've had so much fun remixing old and new ideas, and I hope that you've enjoyed this project as well. So, until next time, happy crafting!